Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna look at some Korean TikToks. Now, I have been living in Korea for a very long time. I'm a f***ing local. I have been living in Korea now for almost 6 years, and so it's really interesting to me to see a lot of the content that gets kind of like pushed to me on TikTok about Korea, and it's like, hey, visit Korea, they've got all this cool stuff. So I thought it would be interesting to react to some of these TikToks as somebody who has lived here for a long time now and knows the culture a little bit, and you know, maybe would have a different opinion looking at some of these TikToks. Let's just get into it. I'm gonna go on TikTok and look at the hashtag Korea hashtag. Okay, Korea. First one. Let me put on headphones. I just realized that my audio is like gonna not be synced or whatever.
Things you need to know when you come to Korea. First one is an obvious one. Take your shoes off when you enter a building.
No.
The rule of thumb is if there's somewhere for you to put your shoes, it means you have to take them off. Next. So he said take your shoes off when you enter a building. It's just somebody's house. I talked about this before, but everybody seems to think that like the shoe taking off is like what? You're gonna take your shoes off when you enter like literally no building except for somebody's house and some old-fashioned style restaurants. Like some like cat cafes, pet cafes will make you change your shoes, but I think that's pretty standard. Next, once you finish dropping the kids off at the pool, do not flush the toilet paper down the toilet. If there's a nearby bin, that's what that's for. Put your poopy wipes in there. If you...
About the poopy wipes in the toilet thing, yes, sometimes. There's usually signs in the bathrooms that will say, do not flush the toilet paper, or they'll say, please put the toilet paper in the toilet. The reason that this was a practice in Korea was because the like sewage system was too weak to handle it. So that's like a holdover from that time, but I believe that the sewage system, the pipes have been widened or whatever. And I think that now it's okay to like flush your toilet paper, like you don't have to be worried about it. But usually there's a sign, I don't know. I always err on the side of putting it in the toilet instead of not.
If you get a taxi, always enter from the right side. If you go in through the left, it's either going to be locked or the taxi driver is going to give you grief. This next one...
It's just the side, it's just the easiest way to get in the taxi. I've never tried to go around the other side of a taxi, but that is true. Yeah, I guess when you pull up, you just go in the door that's closest to you, but everybody does pile in that same door.
One bewilders me as a Brit, but Koreans will not cross the road unless the light changes, even if there's no cars. Don't stick a spoon in your rice unless you're trying to summon the spooky ghost of your ancestors to dinner.
I don't know if it's the spoon necessarily. I know with chopsticks, I think anything sticking straight up out of the rice is generally considered disrespectful in, I believe, most Asian cultures because it looks similar to, I believe, the incense, the way the incense is placed at a funeral. I got that from, oh my gosh, what's her name? I got that from another YouTuber's channel. But also, I knew never to do that before then. So that's a good tip. Okay, hold on. Let's watch this one. It says, things in Korea that just make sense. So let's watch this. Bathrooms in every subway station? Yeah, lots of bathrooms in Korea. Well, I guess you gotta know where they are. But the subway stations do have generally pretty nicely upkept bathrooms. It depends on the subway station. If you're on an older line, the bathrooms are gonna be a little bit older. I remember when I was in Paris, I was wandering around subway stations, metro stations, I guess, whatever. I was wandering around for hours looking for a bathroom. But yeah, in Korea, every subway station does have a bathroom. Isn't that just like basic? Pedestrian lights for when you're on your phone, that's right. It's not everywhere yet, but a lot of these crosswalks do have a green strip that lights up. So that way, if you're looking at your phone, you can see the strip light up and then you just walk. It's great. These umbrellas are pretty useful. They're not on every corner, but they will be capitalized by people who want to be out of the sun. I sometimes use them when it's sprinkling, when I'm waiting for the street. When I'm waiting to cross the street. The lockers in the subway stations, yeah, there's lockers I think in almost every subway station. Are there? There's usually lockers in subway stations. There's also lockers in big malls and stuff like that, and they're usually, yeah, quite cheap. This is a big one, the cutlery in the table. So like whenever you go to kind of a more traditional Korean restaurant or just cheaper restaurants here, like if it's not like a fancy restaurant, Like, and you're like, where are the napkins, where are the like chopsticks and the spoons? Check the side of your table because that is where they're gonna be. I don't know about watermelons. I can't say I've ever bought a watermelon here. Oh, I like this. You live in Korea realistic version. No friend. Stress 24/7. No family to rely on. I mean, yeah. I mean, it is difficult and it can be quite isolating, and I think having a good friend group is absolutely essential when you're living as a foreigner in Korea. Like, it's quite hard to get into Korean people's social circles. A lot of Koreans don't really make close friends after school. And I've had long conversations with my Korean friends about this. A lot of them have their friends that they knew from school, and then their friends that they knew from the army if they're guys. And then after that they have what my Korean teacher told me they call society friends, which are friends that they meet through work or clubs or something like that. So your chances of like expanding your social circle into like a bunch of like great Korean friends is kind of low because they generally hang out with people they already know. It's less common to just make friends with people than I think maybe it is in like America, so it can be quite lonely. I'll give her that. Sorry, girl. Oh, 7 places to, hold on. 7 places to visit in Seoul, part 2. Okay, let's look at this. Changdeokgung Palace is my personal favorite palace. It is also the one that has the highest percentage of remaining original structure, I believe. The one that was used for the longest period of time in the Joseon dynasty. So it's the best one. And I like the grounds are bigger. Don't go to Gyeongbokgung, go to Changdeokgung. It's like pretty close and a lot better. I like it a lot more. Yes. Jogaesa Temple is within walking distance, or it's in the same neighborhood, but I prefer Bongmunsa Temple. It's not as touristy, and despite it being like next to COEX, and it's got quite a nice walking path through the woods and is a little bit bigger than I believe Jogaesa Temple is, but I've only been there once. I wouldn't personally go to Myeongdong because I find it very overwhelming. It used to be a huge shopping hub, street food, a tourist's, you know, dream. Shops lining the streets, they're very foreigner friendly. They, you know, speak to you in like a variety of languages. Some of them speak Japanese, Chinese, English, you know. But after COVID, it really died, and it's kind of slowly coming back, but it's a remnant of what it once was. And if you really want to do shopping, I think COEX or Lotte World Mall is better. Starfield Library, I like. It's worth walking through, but it's not worth going to spend any time in because there's very, very rarely seats and it's always very packed. But if you're going to COEX, take a walk through, take some pictures, it's great. This was the first place I went in Korea, was Starfield Library. Han River, I love the Han River. And Bompo Bridge Fountain, worth seeing once, just once. That area of the Han River is great for picnics and stuff in the summer, and they do a night market there and you can buy food and watch the bridge do the little thing. It's cool. Love a good picnic or late night little dinner drinks at the Han River. It's my favorite. Doksugung, I've never been to Doksugung. I should go to Doksugung. Thank you for this video. I want to see, is this really the, like, is this the top of the top? Okay, this girl said let's try to have fun downtown. Hashtag Daegu, hashtag racism. Oh, she's in for a bad time, hey. What? Oh yeah, I got turned off from that club too, girl. Girl, you're not gonna win. Miss Daegu. So this girl is trying to, I'm assuming it's a, sorry, I don't think it's a girl actually. This person is trying to go out into a club in Daegu, and you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a bad time. Daegu is notoriously not very friendly to foreigners, and I believe the reason is because there is a big military base there, a US military base, and so they don't want to deal with the people from the like military, right? Because it's annoying. So when I went out in Daegu, I had the same thing. Like they were like, no, you can't come in here. But it's not every place, but it is. Daegu is probably the worst place for that in Korea in my experience, where they're just like no foreigners. And you're like, I speak Korean, I live here and blah, blah, and they're like no foreigners. Sorry, go somewhere else, go down the street. It's really frustrating, especially when you like obviously like live here for a while and you're like, I just want to go to this place that's like poppin', like can't you just let me in? But like a lot of places just have strict policies. They're the least accepting of foreigners in Daegu as far as nightlife, in my professional opinion. Oh, here's another. Oh,
That just makes sense.
gross. I've never. This is she just sitting at the Han? What is this? Okay, that was a very short video. I hate those little bar things. That blue thing is soap, and like they have those in only like the most. Let's go with rustic of bathrooms. So at the Han River, the bathrooms there have like the little soap thing, and you just gotta like kind of grab it to get the soap on your hand, and I really hate them, and I don't agree with her that that makes sense. I don't like it. It's my least favorite. And that paper towel thing I've never seen dispensed, but you do usually get wet tissue with like your meals and stuff like that, so I guess work. Next.
2. Free Wi-Fi on local
Yeah,
buses.
love the free Wi-Fi. Oh, you live in Suwon?
Self-serve cutlery and tissues.
Yeah.
Storage.
Everybody's
lockers
saying
in
the same
subway
things in
stations.
these videos.
This is actually
I've never
a
used one of them.
lifesaver.
Well, maybe like once.
I only paid for dollars CAD. 24/7 photo booth.
These photo booths are really, really popular. They're like, you know, photo booths. I don't know if you've seen my wall over there. I'll put a picture of it here. It's a bit much. But like those are open, yeah, 24/7, and they're unmanned. You just walk in and you pay with a credit card, and it's a photo booth, and they have hats there and like glasses that you can wear, and they're really popular. They've always been kind of popular, but they really started like popping up everywhere where there's like a nightlife scene. There's like 50 of these, and you can, you know, you gotta really be choosy. Right.
They have hats, hair straighteners,
Yeah,
and
hair
brushes.
straighteners, yeah. Dominic
Interesting.
in my
These
past
photo
vlog.
booths are all over
All
Seoul.
over Seoul.
Airport lounge where you can play Valorant or League while waiting for a plane. I definitely miss my flight.
I've never seen that.
Pedestrian lights on streets for when you're
Yeah,
on
we
your
already talked
phone.
about
Korea
this.
is trying to expand these light systems to deal with safety hazards.
Yeah.
Smart.
Koreans really stay on their phone on like when they're walking around or like on public transportation. I don't really know how it is in America, but Koreans like
Ice cream shop has 0 staff. I
So this
randomly
one-
came across this
yeah.
store at 1 a.m. in Seoul. I cannot tell
They have
you
quite a
how
few of
happy
these.
I was when I saw the rows of ice cream freezers. There were so many cool Korean ice creams to choose from, and they average from just 50 cents to $1 each. So basically you pick your
Why is
ice
she not
creams
wearing a
and
mask?
they trust you to pay yourself before leaving. You just use a touchscreen machine, scan your ice creams, and pay by card or cash. And yes, there are cameras around the store. I literally
don't bite the
felt like
metal
I
now.
was in ice
Don't
cream
bite.
heaven.
Oh god.
Have you seen a
No,
store like this
yes I have.
before?
Why does she bite the metal now? I love metal now. It's my favorite. So those like 24-hour like unmanned stores are sprinkled here and there. They're not like everywhere, but there are like unmanned 24-hour like cafes where you can go in and just like there's like a, you know, vending machine type thing that just like makes you coffee, and they have ice cream stores that are 24 hours. They have some convenience store type things that are 24 hours and unmanned, and you just go in and they're like CCTV is watching you, and you just pay like self-checkout. And they also have unmanned like print stores where you can just go in and use like a computer if you need to and print us something out or make copies, but those are usually found more in like college towns and stuff. College towns, Kelsey? No, like the college areas near like schools and stuff in Korea. So let's do one more because my battery's almost dying. Okay, here we
In
go.
Korea, that just makes sense.
Another one of these.
Free coffee in most restaurants.
No, this is a lie. Okay, I'm fine. No, I have literally never seen free coffee in a restaurant. Like maybe like the little ones in the country, like maybe, but like literally most restaurants, where, girl, where?
Everywhere.
Bidets, some places, more bidets than in America, that's for sure.
AC heaters while waiting for the butt.
Only in Gangnam, ba-da-da-da, oh mom. Like these AC and heaters, these little shelters, we have them in Gangnam, but they're not everywhere. In fact, they're not even on all bus stops in
stations the
Gangnam.
middle of road with bus lanes, so no traffic.
Yeah, these are
Women
confusing
only
though.
Parking.
The women only parking thing is, controversial here for some reason. I don't know.
To help with food delivery.
These little robots, they have some places, but not most places. But they do have them. They're cool.
Places to put your drinks down while you shop.
I've only seen this in one store, but it exists probably in more like small boutiques and places where there's lots of tourist / like young people traffic, like Hongdae or like Myeongdong.
Colored lines for easy GPS.
I don't drive here, girl.
Things in Korea.
Okay, so she half and half with that one. She had some things that made sense. I mean, that's the thing. It's like basically what have we learned today is don't believe everything you see on TikTok. Cause you know, these kind of nice things that they're like, oh, everywhere has this, everything has that. You know, it's not all like that, but it's fun to see what people really pick up on as being integral and like specifically very Korean. No, but no free coffee don't expect free coffee in restaurants. Maybe, you know, you found that one tiny shop run by like the 80-year-old woman, prove me wrong. The AC and heaters while waiting for the bus is actually factual, but they're not at every bus stop. And they're basically these little like structures, shelters, I guess. It's a temperature controlled environment and they have LCD screens in them that will show you cameras pointing outside down the road so you can see what traffic is coming, what bus is coming, and they also show you the buses that are approaching and how many minutes away they are. And they also usually have, you know, seats in them, and they usually have charging stations, like wireless charging stations in them as well, from the ones that I've been into, and they're really, really nice. I've seen them mainly in Gangnam, to be fair. I guess the government here is just pumping money, I don't know, from all of its rich inhabitants to like bus shelters. I don't know. Let me know how you felt about some of the things that we talked about in this video in the comments below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.